I just saw this video where this guy was presenting. So he was talking about a lady that was married to the governor of Florida named Claude Kirk, and his wife's name was Erica Kirk, and kind of looked similar, kind of like Erica Kirk that was Charlie Kirk's wife. And so he's comparing a lot of similarities, how they kind of have like the same look about themselves, the snake eye effect. She was kind of mysterious. She just kind of popped up. This guy was really charismatic. You know, it sounds really conspiratorialist, but it's basically tying that Erica Kirk to this Erica Kirk. Two different time frames, right? 60s, now we're 2025. Can't be the same person, right? But what I find interesting is if you read, I mentioned a book before, He Came to Set the Captives Free. Another book is Magnus Therona, The High Priest of Satan, by a brother named Phil Botha, which has since passed on, as well as the other authors, because these books are old. But in that book in particular, he talks about how these spirits are of old. And that's why I say, when you're dealing with people, whether they're narcissistic or whether they are whatever spirit that is, it's the spirit of old. It's nothing new. There's no new spirit. It's just wrapped in a different package. In that book, Magnus Therona, that book, he mentions how these spirits transfer to new bodies. These spirits transfer to new bodies. And I'm not saying that is the case with Erica per se. I'm saying I think that that's the case for most of these people that are in these high up offices. They have no sense of morality, but they pretend like they do. They pretend like they're the good guys. And some of them kind of pretend, but we really know how wicked they are. But because the wickedness runs so deep, it's unfathomable that they actually have engaged in these unimaginable behaviors. It's like, well, who would do that? You couldn't imagine doing what they've been quoted to do, okay? You can't imagine them doing that to children and the different, sacrifices and so on. I'm not going to go into all of it, but I'm talking about even bestiality, those types of things that seem so far-fetched. It's like, who would want to do that? Because we enjoy rest, we enjoy good food, we enjoy our family, we enjoy good relationships. A lot of us, love God and Jesus. And even if you don't, you literally don't want to just go around and harm people. That's just weird to have that desire. It's not really a desire. It's from the spirits of old. That's exactly what it is. So that video that I just watched didn't have a lot of views on it. Looks like it was somebody else's presentation that somebody posted on another video. But I just wanted to mention that. Don't think everything is so far-fetched like, oh, she wouldn't dare or they wouldn't dare. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what spirit you're dealing with. These are spirits of old. They're here on a mission, okay? They're here on a mission, and they will do anything and everything to accomplish what they've set out to do, because that's their goal in life. See, we think, man, it can't be their goal to do that. That's just crazy. How do you sleep at night? Well, they don't have to. It's the spirits of old. There's no rest for the wicked, huh? I get that some people are going to be like, oh, shoot. But when you read these different books where these people were actively serving Satan, Satan was their master, they tell it all when they get delivered. They say, hey, when I was a Satanist, we did this, we did that. And in this book by Brother Phil Botha explains it all. He is going into depth on everything that they did. Oh my gosh. And he also, in the book, there's a prayer at the beginning of that book, as well as He Came to Set the Captives Free. And there are certain things that he alludes to, but he doesn't explain how. So new Satanists and children and people that are trying to get into the occult can't mimic that, okay? They can't replicate it. However, he's very descriptive about his involvement in his whole life, how his whole life was dedicated to that. He even talked about how these people, they don't even travel like we do. They don't have to travel like we do. They can just be somewhere. Oh, that just sounds too far-fetched. Why? Why? Where do you think they get these ideas from for all these horror movies and these monsters that look so crazy and grotesque? That's how they look. That's how they look. That's why when you see Beyonce and all of these people performing, and then they finally You pause them while they're in their element and while they're doing what they're doing. You can see the grotesque spirits in them. One of the best movies I think that came out a long, long time ago is called The Devil's Advocate. And it shows the lady changing clothes. And one thing I noticed, none of these people that were very successful had their own children. It was almost as if they couldn't have children. But that's not the point of the movie. The point I'm trying to make in the movie is when the lady was actually changing clothes and the demon in her was exposed, and it showed through her body while she was changing clothes. There's so many more. There's another book called What Witches Don't Want Christians to Know. It has a butterfly on it. What's interesting is that in that book, she was talking about how the occult was working in these small towns in Missouri. He didn't mention the cities, but I knew what she was talking about, and how they were mutilating the cows. I Googled it, the different things that she said, and I found the news articles. That's how I knew it was true. So anyway, just do your research. All of the deception that's going on, including black and white people being mad at each other, which is stupid because we've been living with each other for so long. Ain't nobody mad at the white man, ain't nobody mad at the black man. It's just that they gotta keep spinning these narratives. Also, they do work because a lot of people do fit the stereotypes that have us arguing. All the while, they're simultaneously taking over from the wicked ones that run this world, because they run this world. That's why the Bible says, I know thy poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the lie of those, I'm misquoting it here, that say they're Jews, but they do lie, but are the synagogue of Satan. I made this too long, going for my walk. Hey. All right, see y'all.